Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that. And we're off.
Oh, we're going? Alright.
Yes.
Just gotta stretch out on the couch here. So, episode, God, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 43.
50.
Who cares? Doesn't matter. Time is an illusion. Nothing is. I'm realizing in my formative years, anytime I would read, and this was very, very, very sparingly, maybe genuinely once, but anytime you read any philosopher or any, like, you read Chekhov, any Russian playwright or anything like that, you read it and you go, this is bleak. Like, this is really all pessimistic and really nihilism and just, I can't relate to this. This guy's a downer. This approach to philosophy or art or whatever it is really, it's just sad. I don't understand why anyone would view the world and people this grimly. And then 2 weeks into this quarantine, I'm now thinking, oh no, I get it.
Nihilism's the best.
Now I get this, why everyone is saying I wasn't more an optimist than these people. It's just they were living in pre-Russia or pre-Soviet Russia. They were living in Siberia in 1890. That's why they think the world is a bleak place. I was living in the United States in the 21st century. If they had access to memes, they'd probably be happy too. They'd probably be chilling if they could watch videos of cats and dogs and whatever other dolphins hanging out. If they had Netflix, they would probably have never written anything to begin with.
Sure.
So I think I've been underestimating or maybe overestimating. No, I'd say underestimating. I've been misestimating them. I've been, my appraisal of them was very off by some large magnitude of scale. How are you, Jessica? I got a new I'll lighter fare. I got a new shampoo.
Yeah, it smells delicious.
New shampoo about a week ago, as my brother calls it, champee. That's Greg Corner for you. Once an episode, I'll bring you some wisdom or story from Greg's life. But I got a new shampoo. Jessica likes the smell of it. I'm not too fond of it, but I'm not too fond of it because it flakes really badly. Like once it dries. So if you, at first I thought, I was like, oh, I have dandruff, which is weird because I've never had dandruff. But then I was like, oh no, this is just my dried shampoo.
You use Head and Shoulders.
I know, I use Head and Shoulders because, back to Greg Corner, Greg would always use Head and Shoulders.
And but I'm saying maybe you do actually have dandruff, and like,
no, I don't.
You usually use Head and Shoulders, so you don't.
I started using Head and Shoulders when I was like 20.
Okay.
Or like 18, because Greg started buying Head and Shoulders once he got like 14 or so.
Okay.
And started making any sort of decision about, soaps and caring about hygiene.
Sure.
Because he was trying to, I guess, get the attention of girls, teenage boy stuff. I've
never experienced my shampoo flaking ever.
I don't either. This is the only, I maybe once before with some like really cheap. This, to be fair, I got the shampoo for 88 cents.
Yeah.
At the grocery store.
Yeah.
So.
It's still not surprising, to be honest.
It's not surprising. Shampoo does that from time to time. Normally you just have to rinse it better. But.
Rinse your hair, idiot.
I do. It's just I have a lot of hair, and again, the shampoo that I was using, I would rinse and would be fine.
Yeah. Well.
Shampoo pod.
I haven't noticed any flakes.
Well.
So
then,
nice.
There you go. Maybe I've been rinsing better lately.
You look fine.
It's been a slow news week. It's not so much it's a slow news week. It's a one-story news week.
Ethiopia and Egypt might be entering war.
Yeah, there's some famine being brought about by enormous swarms of locusts, which I learned.
Oh, that's one of the plagues.
You could argue that it's one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse with, I guess, famine, if they eat all and pestilence is already here.
There are definitely countries that are experiencing serious famine.
Sure. Yeah, it was specifically one of the plagues. I learned that locusts are just grasshoppers. It's the same animal. It's just when they swarm, they're called locusts. There's no
Seems like
difference.
A stupid differentiation.
Also, they might go into some bug frenzy. I don't know how their brains work.
They're little babies. No, they're pretty large as far as bugs go, and also.
I don't think they're... Well, I mean, yeah, as far as bugs go, sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, they're substantial
They're like
bugs.
a medium-sized bug.
Again, like, I have crickets in the house, and, you know, they're substantially large. Like, there's some bugs where it's like they could be on you and you don't notice for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I could miss a cricket or a grasshopper walking on me.
Yeah. And I think these swarms are like hundreds of millions,
sure,
or maybe billions, but that sounds.
And again, like, I don't think the issue with locusts is the bug itself; it's the damage.
Yes,
that the bug
they swarm and eat all the crops.
Yeah,
and all that.
So it's not like, oh no, big scary bugs. It's like, oh shit, my farm is empty.
Yeah, but locusts are grass. Do you remember what I taught you about ox? Next year, I think, is the year of the ox in the Chinese zodiac. Greg was born. Back to Greg Corner.
Context. Also, stop bringing up your brother. You can't just talk about your brother the whole podcast.
You're right. I don't know why I can't, but I guess I can.
Start a podcast with Greg. If you want to talk.
He's in New Hampshire right now.
So?
We're in New York.
Oh.
We're way far away. We're, 300
you could
miles?
Still do a virtual podcast. I'm pretty sure Call Your Girlfriend is... They're not close.
Name dropping better podcasts.
I've already name dropped them.
Do you remember what I taught you about... The only thing I've ever taught you about an ox. About the animal. The ox. The oxen. Many oxen.
Nope.
An ox is...
It's just a male something or something?
It's a bull.
Yeah.
It's the same animal. It's just... A bull, an ox, and a steer are all the same animal. It just depends on when and if you castrate them. I think an ox...
So they're all cows?
Yeah, cows or yeah, they're the male cows. I think an ox is one you castrate before it's fully grown, and a steer is one you castrate once it's fully grown.
An ox
and a bull is still
large.
Has its balls. Yeah, no, they're huge. They're still big. I mean,
I feel like if
I don't know.
An animal...
I don't know if I'm not very skilled in animal husbandry. That might be redundant, but I'm not very skilled in raising cattle. But it might not be a size issue. It might be more like an aggression thing, like why people neuter their dogs, or it might be so they don't.
I guess because we neutered Milo as a puppy.
It might be so they don't ever get to siring age and accidentally have the populations get out of hand. I don't know. It might be a size thing, but might not. But even still, a bull that's 75% the size of a full-grown bull is still a very big, powerful animal.
Okay.
They top out over a ton.
Okay.
For some species, they're huge. Like the gaur, as you know.
They're little babies.
Asia's largest wild cattle.
They're so sweet.
Can fight off even a tiger.
I miss the zoo so can we not bring up the zoo? Because I cannot. Sure. I'm so upset.
All right, what do you want to talk about? I'm just looking at our peacock feather display, so it came up.
We have about 300 peacock feathers in our apartment.
Like full. Well, we have that many full-sized tail feathers. Yeah. Some of them are 5 feet long from end to end, and they're in maybe 60 of them are in one big vase.
That's my favorite thing that I've ever
on
created,
the ground, and there's another one in vases, and there's smaller ones that are still like 1.5 feet long in picture frames on our wall, and in smaller flower vases.
I make jewelry out of them.
Yeah, and then you have Tupperwares and plastic containers full of their teeny tiny tail feathers that are very small, maybe the size of like a thumb.
I wouldn't say that they're tail feathers; they're just body feathers.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the feathers that come from the wings and the back of the neck.
Yes, some of them.
And the belly.
They are still. They don't have the eye, but they're still
fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, blue and green and iridescent. Of those, we have probably 1,000.
I saw a lady who had a flower, and then she was like, "I'm gonna put peacock feathers and resin in this flower." And, she did it, and, she used the most gorgeous feathers that I have, 200 of, and she put them in resin, and they turned pitch black. And I was like, what a waste. It pissed me off, and I was, looking at that. I was like, you had such beautiful feathers, and you chose to put them in a medium that made them pitch black and basically ruin them. And it pissed me off a lot, so. As you know, I've tried to put my feathers in resin, and it turned pitch black, and I said, this was a waste, and I'm upset. And this lady made, a humongous... 2-pound resin block with the feathers. They look nice. They're kind of spiky, but they're pitch black, and that's not. Anyway, peacock feathers are super cool.
They're pretty cool. We have way too many of them.
The display.
I try to give them away. I can't give them away fast enough.
Yeah, so we go to the zoo, and like basically what ended up happening was Rob got frustrated with how many feathers we had in the house already. Additionally, he just likes being nice to
I
children.
think before you start the first time we start collecting them, I start giving them away.
I don't think so. I think
the first time I said you can keep. No, the first time we collected them, I remember someone came up to me and asked if she could have one, and I gave her one, and
Crazy.
you got mad at me in the car because I shouldn't have. So peacocks, we go to the Bronx Zoo. We live
don't tell them.
in the New York City metropolitan area. We go to the Bronx Zoo as well as others, but they have maybe 100, maybe more free roaming peacocks. And in May, June, July, August, the peacocks, after they've mated, the tail feathers fall off. They shed them like baby teeth falling out, or like any other animal sheds its summer coat.
Yeah, I mean it's more like, because like baby teeth don't fall out all at once in abundance.
True. Whatever, it's
they fall out very
aggressively.
aggressively. Yeah, they shed them almost all at once.
And so if a peacock if there are 60 male birds at the zoo, say, peacock has like 100 feathers on its tail, so you're talking thousands of feathers.
And they shed most of their body feathers as well. So
yeah, and they just fall off in the wind, or when they're walking, or when they fly.
Or like if they're walking through a bush, it'll just like brush them off.
So I'm fairly good at finding places where a lot of them fall off. So
the peacocks. Okay, so am I. First of all.
So we find a lot. I think the most we've ever found in one trip is like 100 big.
Probably, yeah.
About 100 big, 3, 4,
and
5
it's
foot.
It's not just the feather.
Feathers.
It's like you have the feather, and then there's like, again, like the feather itself is maybe like, well, the feather itself is like a little thing. It's like 4 inches tops, but then the stick, it's like it's not a stick, but they're like attached to this really long white portion that's like hard. It's almost like a nail.
Talking peacocks here on Peapod.
And those are really long, and they're really visible, so they're easy to spot.
Yeah.
If you know what to look for.
Yeah, so we often find 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe up to 100. I try and give all of mine away to kids at the zoo. Jessica hoards all of them, and we have so many of them.
Yeah. Well, the goal was to make
hundreds.
Beautiful artwork with them that people would buy, but then little did I know, I suck at art.
No, you don't. You just don't.
No one wants to buy my things.
You don't market this stuff. But
I don't have a budget.
But the point is, whatever the reason is, if you can't sell these or get rid of them, or if you're not going to go to these craft shows and try and sell them, that's fine. But then stop bringing more feathers in.
My plan was, once like February hit, I was going to start like looking into craft fairs to apply to, and do one with my friend, and we were going to do one together, and she just needed some time to build up her, because at this point, like, you can see the box on the floor of resin pieces. Like, I have a full box of just pieces waiting to be sanded.
Yeah.
I have a humongous reserve of art, but she's like, no, I don't. I need to create some, whatever. But then this fucking coronavirus hit, and I can guarantee you all of the art fairs this summer are canceled.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer, but it will give me a chance to make more art. But anyway, I'm going to continue to make art, and I want to be more innovative with how I make art. I now bought a bunch of Mod Podge, so now I can attach the feathers to canvases and stuff.
Tell the readers what Mod Podge is. The readers at home.
It's sludgy glue, basically. Mod Podge is like, it's meant, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm all self-taught with everything that I do in my life, so I don't know what it is. I don't know what the technical purpose is, but I know that it dries clear, and it's really good at getting shit to stick to other shit in weird shapes. So, like, yeah, and it kind of creates like an outer sealant so that, you can take porous things and seal them so that they can, whatever, they won't die if they're ever exposed to water or anything. And, so I think if I wanted to get like a feather to stick to a canvas, it would be better to Mod Podge it than to just like glue it. The only problem is that if resin completely takes the color away from a peacock feather, maybe Mod Podge will too, because the beauty of the feather is when it gets hit by the light. So if the Mod Podge creates a block between the feather and the light, they might turn pitch black too.
We've got our best scientists on it.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about today?
Okay.
Besides Mod Podge. Because I think you're getting a little
You were talking about
specific
oxen and things too, so like...
I know, it's just I don't...
So
but
the
then we
apocalypse
moved
is
on from that.
Quarantine
No, let's not talk.
Okay, fine.
Let's not talk
You
coronavirus.
brought it up.
I'm pick a topic besides coronavirus, besides Mod Podge. Or I'll pick a topic, but you're not going to like it.
Please do. Well, why?
Because when I pick topics, I say things like, how many 9-year-olds do you think you could take in a fist fight?
That doesn't count as picking a topic. That's just random.
It is a topic. You don't like it, but it doesn't mean it's not a topic.
I do not like it. That's true. Because it's not a conversation.
It could be a conversation if you entertained it for more than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Again, it's a topic. You don't like it. That's fine. But then you need to pick a topic. Because every time I bring up a topic,
I'll like it.
I'm talking. Okay, but like, say that would be my topic. What? Okay, fine. If you, let's say hypothetically, a similarly pointless thought experiment that doesn't involve fighting children because you, on some weird ethical grounds, refuse.
No. I have no problem fighting children. I have a problem fighting animals.
Okay, great.
We've been through this.
Let's say 5-year-olds.
Okay.
Bare knuckle brawl.
You know I hate children, right? Like
You get shoes, I'd say. You can pick which type as long as they don't have like weapons concealed in them. How many do you think you could take on? And I'll say in different formats. Like, let's
15.
say a cage. Huh?
15.
15 in what capacity? Like they're swarming you at once, like one at a time? Okay. Big swarm of kids.
Actually, I don't know. I feel like
Let's say you're in.
It depends. Like if you're literally releasing one child, we fight to the death, and then you release the second child or whatever, like in that sense.
Let's say it's kind of like a squared circle, like you're in the octagon or like a gladiator pit. Let's say every 3 minutes. Huh?
Oh.
Let's say every 3 minutes, 3 more get added from 3 different triangulated points around the ring. Like the same door opens, and if let's say a 5-year-old comes in.
Maybe 7 then.
You think 7?
Yeah.
You could take 7 kids?
Yeah.
You take the first 3, bam. They're down. 3 minutes pass. Have you taken out all 3?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Another
3 come out.
I've never tried to fight a child. I don't know the strength.
Okay, Miss High and Mighty over here.
I don't know the strength
Never
of a 5-year-old.
thrown the bow at a 5-year-old's face?
What?
Tossed an elbow?
No. I've never once hit or...
Never been to a target?
I don't even think I've pushed a child before.
Shoved one out of line?
I've accidentally elbowed a child who, like, walked into the back of my elbow.
All right, well, let's say, hypothetically, you weren't a saint, okay? Let's say you're not the Pope. And like the rest of us, you have fought and constantly think of ways to improve your fighting form against children under the age of 8.
I mean, you know the way you say that if you punched me once, you'd probably knock me out? Like, maybe if I punched a kid square in the face, I'd knock him out.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's true.
You could deck a kid in the mouth, and they... Also, I would think there's
That's true. I feel like if you hit it... It depends, too. Like, if these children are, like, rabid...
Right.
Because if I punch a kid, they're going to be on the floor crying.
Yeah, and the other kids would scatter.
Sure, they don't...
If you punch a 5-year-old so hard that it knocks his teeth out and his nose starts bleeding and all that, the other ones aren't running at you.
Again, though, like, I would assume that these kids have a reason to fight me, or they're rabid, or it's, like, literally... Like, with a gladiator situation, it's like, it's either them or you. So the people don't really get scared. They're like, I need to fight.
First of all, I think a lot of people in the... I don't know why I would think this, but I think a lot of people in the gladiator pits or in these situations, if they're not trained fighters, would get scared.
I repeat, we really need to watch Gladiator.
Like, to quote or paraphrase Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I think once those kids see, like, oh, this person's twice my size, and
like
they are
quote.
not... That man just punched my compatriot, my
equal.
Yeah, my teammate so hard in the head that said head exploded, basically. Like, they started bleeding from every orifice, and that kid is on the ground, presumably dead. I'm not gonna... That was one punch did that. I'm not gonna go and line myself up with that guy's fist. So if that's a factor, I don't know. But let's say
I would say if we make them rabid, because that way...
Let's say they're not rabid, because that's weird, and let's say they have some self-preservation instincts, but they still want to fight you. Like, let's say they run into the ring with me, I punch one, and say it breaks his neck, right?
Okay.
The other ones wouldn't then cower against the wall refusing to fight, but they would say, okay, I need a different strategy here. And they would be a little more careful. But only
they're also
if
not smart. They're 5.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't have much to work with. They would still want to fight you. They would recognize this is probably... You could take 10.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say...
Again, I would have to see what it would feel like to punch a child and see how much damage that does. Like, I genuinely cannot even... I don't fight. I've never even fought another...
You talking going down to the playground?
Sure.
You want to go?
Yeah. No, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think the only person that I've ever thrown a punch at or like actually tried to hurt would be like my younger brother when we were kids. So like, I don't know what it feels like to punch someone out of aggression and hurt them or try to hurt them.
I'm hearing you. You want to go in a time machine and go back as an adult and punch your younger brother in the face.
No.
Okay, then I'm lost.
Okay.
You want to turn a playground into a Thunderdome, like a jungle gym into a like a
It
Mad
sounds like
Max
that's
sort
what
of.
you want to do because I have no
Yes.
intention of killing children.
I dream a dream. Well, I don't have to. Well, maybe I do have to.
It's funny though because you love kids. It's weird
Yeah,
that
for
you
sure.
think about this.
Well, I don't
Like-
think about it. I don't think about it as killing real, living children. I think of it more like killing, like androids that are
Robots?
perfectly approximating kids. Like I think
Okay,
about it
why,
from like a combat sport, combat science perspective. I don't want to hurt kids.
This is
Just
weird.
like I would never, even if I thought I mean, if I tried to fight a gorilla, I would die.
Yeah.
But even if I thought I could beat a gorilla in a fight, I wouldn't want to fight a gorilla. I don't want to fight an animal.
Okay.
I don't want to hurt
right.
animals. But it's
Which
interesting
is why
to
I
think
find
about.
it weird that you always think about
It's
killing
just
them. and
well,
hurting
this is
them.
why we're talking about it hypothetically, and I'm not going down to the playground and punching kids in the mouth.
I know, but I don't want to fight kids so much that I don't even think about it.
Okay, we get it. We get it. We get it. You're the best person on the planet.
Thank you.
We get it. All right, fine. A different one then. Would you rather? Well, this is another. Well,
Yeah, you can ask me fun hypotheticals, but please stop with fighting ones because I don't understand.
okay. Forget about you. A random, let's say
Oh my
me. Would
I don't care
would
who's
you
doing the
think-
fighting. I don't care. Like hypotheticals are fine, but not like
100
this.
duck-sized horses, or one horse-sized duck?
We are still talking about fighting, and I
Yes.
don't care.
Jessica,
talk about it.
then you pick
We can talk about how I'm supposed to be working right
a
now.
topic. Why would you want to talk about that? Why would you want to record that? Exactly. So
I don't know, bro. You were like
Let-
the one that suggested doing a podcast right now, so I was like, maybe he has something he wants to talk about.
you can't keep getting mad at me when I say let's record our podcast because doing the podcast was your idea, and then you spent months saying nah. I'm the only reason this podcast exists.
This is true.
So you
And
can't
you are
keep
better
getting mad at me
at,
because we record them in the morning, we record them in the early afternoon, like right now, we record them after dinner, we record them at midnight, we record them at 3 a.m, and it's always not a good time. As soon as you
That's not true.
as soon as you run out of things to say for 30 seconds, suddenly you start
Okay,
blaming
let's
me
stop fighting.
for I'm gonna murder you in a cage match. I could kill 30 of you, I think.
No,
3 at a time.
Absolutely not.
Oh yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
Bam, bam, bam. I got 2 minutes and 55
No.
seconds to light a cigarette and wait for the next round to start. Yep.
Also, I think that the three of us would be able to team up against
No.
you.
Also, you don't work well with others. You would not team up with yourself, and yourselves would not team up with
Oh,
you
dude.
or each other.
I wonder, even if it was myself
It would be
giving
all-
me commands, I don't know if I'd listen.
No,
I'd
you
be
wouldn't.
like,
Of course you
"Hey,
wouldn't."
Please,
You'd
why
say,
are you the one in charge?
Right. Why are you the Jessica A versus Jessica B? Fuck you, because you're. Yeah, no. You would. I would probably wouldn't have to do anything. You would probably start fighting each other.
That's a horrifying thought. That
There
like,
would be a lot of
even-
infighting.
Like, I'm so averse to any sort of authority, even if it came literally from me.
Yeah, that's why time travel scenarios I don't think work with you, because if you're like, oh, if I could go back in time and tell myself 10 years in the past, what? No, it wouldn't matter. You wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
You could go back in time to talk to yourself when you were 18, and 18-year-old you would tell current you, 49, to go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you believed it, even if 18-year-old was like,
no,
even
that's the
if
thing. I
18-year-old
would be
you
able
was
to
like, yeah,
convince
no.
myself for sure. Like, I'd be able to be like, okay, I'm 100% convinced that this is
Yeah.
me from the future. I'd still be like, but I feel like what I'm doing is fine.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I'm fine.
I don't think that
I don't know what your problem is. I don't need these lottery numbers
Yeah,
or
please
stock
don't give
advice
me
or
tips.
sports bets. I don't need anything. I
I'm in
don't
charge
need
of
to
my own
warn
destiny.
people about the next 9/11 or Corona. I don't need anything. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
I'm okay.
I'm doing me. Clearly,
Mm-hmm.
30 years from now, I have a time machine. Can't be all bad.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, you look fine. It means I'm gonna turn out fine.
Go fuck yourself. And then you would disappear. So
Crazy.
that's why that genre of hypotheticals kind of has to be swept off the map, in terms of, self-advising and all that.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I should look into that.
Yeah, probably. But
You know.
so a duck-sized horse.
Ugh.
Fine, I'll keep this under. I'll say what I think, and then we can change the topic because
Great.
I just need a platform to get this out of there.
And
because
you
this
still
is
won't let me talk about how I want to, like, the whole fighting a tiger thing. Like, you're like, just don't tell the story. Ugh, my God.
No, because
but then
I'm
when
not.
you do get to do
I'm
this shit.
I'm not saying. Well, there are two reasons for that. One, I'm not saying I know definitively I could beat a duck-sized or a horse-sized
Okay.
duck. You're saying you could beat a tiger in a fight.
That's
the difference.
I
B,
don't know. I'm just saying that's how I feel.
Right. It's the same thing. B, you're saying you're tempering it right now because we're being recorded. Every other time we've talked about this, you say with 110% certainty,
Yeah.
you are so cocksure that a tiger
No, I am.
would not
I
want to,
am.
and if it tried to, would not be able to hurt you. So
I feel like if you just grab their paws.
stop. A, I'm talking in a hypothetical. I'm not saying I could beat this giant animal. I'm saying I would have a better chance against this or that.
Okay.
B, this is a hypothetical that I don't think I could ever possibly misinform someone into thinking that they could or should fight an animal, whereas you say things that are irresponsible to put out on the airwaves because you're saying,
Okay.
I think if I or anyone was in a cage
Just
with a
me.
tiger,
Just me.
all you have to do is just pet him on the nose, and you every time we go to the zoo or any zoo that has tigers, you say, I wish I could. You, to your credit, you don't say I'm gonna jump in there, but you say I wish they would let me in there.
Yeah.
I wish I could do like an animal encounter so that I could wrestle with this tiger playfully, because I know it wouldn't want to hurt me.
Yeah.
So you say things
I stand by that.
that to broadcast I think are irresponsible, and in your own life are going to end up getting you mauled or killed by a cat, a 500-pound cat.
I am going to put this in the record. I will own a tiger at some point in my life.
That's
and then we'll test
fine.
it out. And if I get mauled, so be it.
Okay,
I don't recommend that anyone else does it. Also, the only reason that I would ever get a tiger is obviously if I got like proper, like if I really did a lot of research, I had the appropriate amount of food and money and space and all that shit. Like I wouldn't be one of those irresponsible tiger owners. I guess any person that owns a tiger is an irresponsible owner because they should not be kept as pets.
Maybe.
But here's the other thing, like the other side of that is that we are literally killing every single tiger that lives in the wild. I feel like owning a tiger or like rescuing a tiger that's been abused in a third world zoo, like I don't really feel like it's that.
This is getting pretty depressing.
Anyway, well, I'm saying I would like to rescue, like people rescue dogs from the pound. Why can't I rescue a tiger from a zoo?
You're right. Exactly.
Anyway,
why not?
I feel like
I'm 170 pounds or so.
okay.
A tiger is 3 times my weight. I kick if when we playfully shove each other around.
Yeah, I think a tiger would kill you.
Like when
sure.
and I'm bigger and stronger and faster than you are.
Definitely.
A tiger is 3 times my weight and has knives for fingers.
I feel
and
like
teeth.
If a tiger attacked me, I'd be dead in a second.
Yep.
My thing is that I feel like if I was put into a cage, especially with a tiger in the zoo, or one that's already been tamed, I feel like it wouldn't attack me in the first place. Also, I don't know. I feel like I could have like the body language and just kind of like read a cat.
This is so bad.
See, again, when I don't entertain your ideas, you get upset with me. But then when I try to go on my tangents, you get upset.
Because this is dangerous.
It's not.
If you wanted to talk about
recommend
photographing tigers, that'd be fine.
I don't recommend that anyone does that.
I let you talk about peacock feathers and didn't get upset with that. I'm upset that even though you're not recommending it, Jessica, you have to understand when you say, I think I could do this, people are going to say, if she can do it, so can I.
Okay, well, to be fair, I've never tested it out, and it's
that's what makes it even more
fine,
unfounded. So, as I was saying, it seems like a question that actually splits people fairly evenly down the middle is, would you rather or would you better be equipped to fight? Again, just like clothes on your back, I guess you can get shoes. 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck. I don't understand how it's even a question.
Do I have a weapon?
No, I don't think so. Because it's a weapon that would be very good and useful against one, like a golf club or baseball bat would be very useful against those small, tiny horses, but it would probably be functionally useless against this horse-sized duck.
Okay, but I'm saying, could I choose my weapon based on which one I was going to
No, I don't think you get a weapon either way. I don't understand how it's even a question.
I don't think I could take either of them, to be honest.
I don't understand how it's even a question because if you think about how small a duck is, a duck that can't fly can't hurt you. It's at shin level, and if you have like even jeans on, it can't do anything to penetrate your pants. I'm saying like a duck-sized horse is like a chihuahua without teeth. They'd be so you could punt them.
duck-sized horse?
A horse the size of a duck.
No, I think they're
nothing.
like pure muscle, and their hooves are really.
But they're tiny. It would be like the smallest baby goat you've ever seen. It would be slightly smaller than that. It'd be nothing.
I think a baby goat could probably hurt me pretty bad.
I don't think if you were like in combat mode, if you started stomping heads, I don't think so. It'd be.
I really don't want to talk about hurting animals.
duck-sized.
Like, we've been through this. It makes me uncomfortable to think about stomping the head of a goat. I don't like it.
Pick a topic.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Again, it's hard because I don't do anything.
I know.
Legally, I'm not allowed to. So let me think.
This is great. A lot of prep went into this show.
It's not. I don't know why you're making it seem like it's my fault. I keep saying
entirely your fault.
It is absolutely not my fault that you said let's record a podcast right now.
You've had months to prepare for this, and we've recorded
We've recorded an episode. We should do a fucking movie podcast.
We've recorded an episode of this podcast every day.
I know.
Since we started, so you should be prepared. You should have 10 minutes of material that you can riff on
today.
Every day, even if you're not thinking of recording a podcast, you should have 10 minutes of thoughts every day that you could talk about.
I'm not really a morning person, so my only thought this morning was like, let me make sure that
It's 2:13 in the afternoon.
I
dear
woke up
readers.
at like 11.
You woke up at like 10.
No.
You woke me up at like 10.
Whatever. Anyway,
You've been awake for 4
I didn't get out of
hours.
bed until 11, and also my first instinct was like, let me deal with work. And then when work quieted down, I was like, okay, now I get to do some art. And I haven't really been, in any sort of thought mode today. Let's see. Again, I keep saying we should start watching movies, and then we can talk about those and have that as a podcast, because I feel like that was the whole thing that I wanted to do.
How long do you think you could maintain an empire?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Off the top of my head.
My whole life.
Your whole life.
I would.
You think you'd be a lifelong monarch?
I think that I would probably be murdered. Sure. I'm going to be frank.
Sure.
But I don't know how long it would take for people to murder me. Also, like,
It's been half an hour.
What?
Been half an hour in this podcast. I want to murder you.
Thank you. I wonder also, like, what circumstances brought upon my rule. Like, would I have been, like, did I kill the last ruler? Did I earn it in battle? Did I, what, was I born into it? What's the deal?
Let's say you inherit... Let's say Caesar is assassinated.
Okay.
The Ides of March. And,
That's March 6th, right? My mother.
Don't make fun of your mother while we're recording. Caesar, this plot with all these senators, murder Caesar, and for whatever reason, Augustus Octavian is not there, and Caesarion stays in Egypt or is murdered or whatever, and Antony is dead. You get to take over. If you want to turn it into an empire proper, as Octavian did, sure, or if you want to keep ruling it as what ruins of a republic it would exist as, up to you. You have this Roman... You take over for Caesar. Okay. 43 BC.
I feel like this would be a lot better if I understood.
Okay.
What...
Why don't you tell me what empire you would want to take over?
I don't care.
So then Rome.
No, I'm not saying no to Rome.
So what are you saying no to?
I'm just saying it would be, like, I don't understand the state it was in when Caesar...
So then pick one that you understand the state of better.
I don't know anything about the state of empires in history, Robert. It's not something that I know about.
So then you... sympathize with me here for a minute. Sympathize with me. Stop interrupting me. Sympathize with me here for a minute. I say you chew me out for 20 minutes because all my topics are garbage.
Hey, buddy, let's stop yelling at me about topics. Your topic is fine. I'm just saying, can you give me more clarity on the state of the empire? That's literally it.
No, because we're trying to... that would take an hour.
Okay, fine. Are they... Like, literally it would take 2 seconds. Like, are they successful or are they kind of
yes.
middle? Okay.
You take
would
over...
Would I be able to hire advisors?
Take over Rome in the middle of the Pax Romana.
Okay. Would I be able to take over... Like, would I have advisors?
You're the emperor of Rome. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I could rationally rule for my entire life. I don't really feel like there'd be a reason to. I don't think I'd ever get sick of having the power, you know?
You don't think it would go to your head?
It would. I don't think I'd get sick of it, though.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's not...
I'd be like Putin, who keeps changing the rules of the country so he can
sure.
remain.
Let's say you don't... Well, you're the emperor. You don't need to legitimize... Or maybe you do, I don't know. But how would you... What would be your priorities of rule? Would you be...
I don't know. I would want
a militaristic sort of...
I would definitely want a strong military, but I don't think that I would... I don't think that my focus would be on expansion. Because I think that tends to be what gets people in trouble, is when they get overzealous.
That's also what builds empires, though.
It is. But my empire seems pretty strong already. I would keep a strong military. I would try to make friends. Like, I'd be like, let's make friends. Like, let's have mutually beneficial trade routes and that kind of thing. And I mean, from what I know about ancient Rome, Greece, and Egypt, is that they were all buddies. You know, they all cross-culture.
Yeah, the Hellenistic people.
Yeah, like I'd want something like that where we were all kind of like riffing off each other, and I'd want some sort of I don't know. I would want
like a sweet jam sesh.
And I would give everyone rights.
Greece would be like the basest. Okay.
Like, prisoners of war and slaves and stuff seem to be very successful for running a country, but
Sure. Enough said. I get it.
No,
I hear you.
The Egyptians got a lot done, don't get me wrong.
I don't think the Egyptians had many slaves. I think that's been overblown by your people. Yeah.
Okay, how dare you?
Yeah.
We were definitely slaves.
I think the people who made the pyramids, I think most modern research suggests that they were actually paid.
Oh.
No, not volunteers. That they were paid workers.
I mean, they should have been for sure, but anyway, I feel like I would be one of the, like, I'd be like the Viking situation where like it was like a matriarchy kind of thing. I don't think that I would need women to be...
Were the Vikings matriarchal? I don't think that's right.
Sure.
I'll
look into that.
I don't know, because I mean their pillaging and their expeditions were definitely male led, and all the mythic figures, not mythic, but all the exalted figures in Viking lore, like Leif Erikson and Eric the Red is, I think, his dad or his grandfather. Mm-hmm. They were men.
Well.
Okay.
Pirates aren't necessarily
not pirates.
No, but I'm saying like the leaders of the expeditions don't necessarily have to be like Columbus wasn't his own, like, he discovered fucking America, but he wasn't the leader of the country.
True, but you would think that if it was a society that was matriarchal, they would send. I mean, these are big. Like
no,
Columbus,
I would still want to send my strongest people.
Right. Well, no, you'd want to send your leaders. Columbus was sent because, being an explorer, they give him ships and enormous amounts of manpower, and say any land you discover, you get to be the governor of.
Oh.
It's an enormous undertaking.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's humongous. Pedro Alvarez Cabral was the first, I think in 1500, he was the first man to discover maybe the mainland Americas at all, but he discovered South America when he landed. It had been seen before, but no one had landed there, from Europe at least.
Okay.
He discovered Brazil, and he took huge swaths of it. Yes, for Portugal, but he was given a lot of wealth and power and say. And I think one of his expeditions was the first one to hit 4 continents. I mean, Portugal was probably the first global empire. What are we doing here?
I don't know what you're doing. You're
just riffing. Yeah, I don't think the Vikings. I don't
teaching me about
know.
The discovery of Portugal.
No,
or lack thereof.
Brazil.
Yeah.
I don't.
Portugal was never discovered. Anyway, I think I would want equality. I don't think I'd want like a women-ruled society, but I would want everyone to be equal. I'd want all races to be equal, blah, 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 blah. And, yeah. Or I don't know. I would try to, like, maybe I would go the Egyptian route and say that I was a god. And just instill religious fear.
Yeah, I think you would. Knowing you, I think that would probably, even if that's not a conscious decision, I think that's something that would just kind of slip out. Like, why shouldn't these people venerate me as a
Worship
deity
me.
and fear me as
I mean,
a world-ending being?
I feel like you do need people to fear you a little bit. And I do feel like, I mean, I don't know. I don't fear, like, our presidents.
Simple folks, us.
Yeah. No, but, I mean, they are. And also, like, not to shit on everyone that is religious, but I feel like, to me, religion should be exploited.
Yeah, boy.
I feel like if you're not... how to word this?
Why don't we back away from... You just marched us into a rather sticky wicket here.
Yeah.
Into quite the quagmire.
I would want to be worshipped as a god.
Backing up further.
Okay.
You often say, just kind of almost an entirely new subject, to get away from the controversial, you often say that you think we should be nicer to pedophiles because they have a hard enough time fitting in as it is.
That's true. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I have a lot of really strong opinions about pedophilia.
Yep. Most of them...
Here's the thing.
The thing is, you have strong opinions that mostly come down right in the middle of, I don't do it, but I get it. It's not the worst thing in the world. Why is molesting a child so much worse than molesting a person that's an adult? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Molesting anyone is horrible.
Yep.
Let me clear the air. It should not be done.
Sure.
There is nothing to justify that.
Fine.
On the other hand...
Why do kids get special treatment?
No. I'm saying the people... Like, okay, a rapist, like, probably doesn't only get off to rape. But, like, pedophiles, most of the time, can only get off to children.
Yeah, I don't know... I don't know any open pedophiles.
There's not a single pedophile that would be like, oh, you know what? I can get off to normal sex, but sometimes I just need a kid. Because no one would ever touch a child.
I would probably agree.
Yes.
Unless the pedophiles know something we don't.
Here's the thing.
About how great molesting kids is.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
People that have kinks.
Yep.
There are some people that are like, oh man, like I love to be tied up. I love to be hit. I love to be choked. I love to be slapped.
By a child?
Stop it.
Okay.
By consenting adults.
Sure.
Usually kinks are made because of something that happened in their formative years.
I think that sort of Freudian oversimplification is A, not true, and B, mostly discredited by the psychological community at large. Like, for example, almost everything that Freud said has been thrown out with the bathwater.
I know a lot of people, though, that, like, I know who they are as people, and then I know who they are sexually, and it completely makes sense to me.
Why? Who do you know sexually?
I talk a lot about sex with a lot of my friends, and I've had sex with other people, so sure. I know...
Brag.
I'm just saying, and
You're good at it.
And
You're better than us.
I have my own personality and my own sexual preferences. Like,
let's talk about it.
First of all, you know I would talk about sex forever.
That's true.
You're the reason that we aren't.
So children?
No.
I keep getting lost.
Back to that.
Yeah.
Any single person... I think the thing that makes the kink thing unhealthy is when you can only get off during that kink thing. Where it's like, if you told me, like, hey, Jess, this is what you enjoy, but I'm not into that, so... And I'd be like, fuck it, I don't want to have sex with you at all.
So how does this...
So I'm saying, I think with pedophiles, like, the problem is that they can't have sex any other way. And could you imagine being that? Like, that must be really hard for them.
Oh, it's hard, all right. Here's the thing. That's what I don't... there are two parts of it, is the urge to have sex with children that I don't understand.
Sure.
And the almost, like, werewolf-type inability to control your urges. Like, if you told me...
I don't think it's an inability to control your urges.
If you told me you can either... Like, your dick won't get hard unless you're looking at someone below the age of 12.
Yeah.
Like, if you told me you can only have... Or even just watch kiddie porn. Forget about having sex with kids.
Yeah.
If you told me you can only consume child pornography, or you can't have sex and you have to live as a celibate, like a eunuch, I just wouldn't have sex.
I feel like you say that, but then...
I do say that.
Listen.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you were in a life where you couldn't have sex, like a lot, like...
I don't think so. I really don't.
I think you're wrong.
Additionally, I think I have a pretty good measure of myself.
I think that a lot of the reason why people are pedophiles is because something happened in their past.
Maybe they were molested, sure.
So that's what I'm saying, like, even you're a normal human being who doesn't have psychological trauma, so maybe you have better self-control or better impulse control than someone with serious PTSD does.
Right, but so hypothetically, if we just, like, if it's a cycle of abuse, if we were to find all the pedophiles and just get rid of them, cycle would end, we'd be done.
Not necessarily, like, you know that I've been watching the Netflix documentary, I Am a Killer. And it's crazy that almost, like, I would say, like, 80% of the men and women that have been murderers have had a history of abuse.
Yeah.
Which I find so interesting. But it's not sexual abuse. Like, not always. Like, sometimes, like, their dad will beat them.
So what's your stance vis-a-vis how society should approach and deal with pedophilia and pedophiles?
Rehabilitation and whatever the word is. Like, I feel like they should definitely be removed from society, but I feel like...
Removed, there you go.
No, I feel like they should be, like, rehabilitated.
Repurposed?
Where...
Like
no.
as a lamp?
No.
Okay. I'm lost.
I know, just let me fucking talk.
Okay.
So, I feel like you should take them into a psychological ward, I guess, and just kind of, like, work with them and kind of figure out, like, what is happening with them and maybe medicate them and maybe, like... And if they... Like, even if after the therapy cycle has been completed, which could take years, whatever, like, and a therapist says, you know what, like, I don't think that this person's capable of making the change.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
They should be in prison for sure if they have actively, like, touched a child, for sure. But I think step one should be fixing them instead of just punishing them for the rest of their lives for something that honestly, like, wasn't even their fault. Like, obviously it was their fault to say, I'm sexually attracted to a child and then take it to the next level and touch a child or photograph a child or whatever. I feel like they understand right and wrong, but I feel like if I was told that I'd never be able to have any type of sex ever again, I don't know how achievable that would be. Granted, the sex that I would be having wouldn't be with kids, so, like, there is a different level there, but I just think it's, like, I just feel like it must be really fucking hard. Like, there are people that are gay, right? That, like...
Sure.
Don't feel comfortable in their social circles admitting that they're gay, or they don't necessarily admit to themselves that they're gay, or, like, whatever the situation is. And I feel like a lot of those people end up being fucked up, or they end up committing a crime, or, like, they just end up having secret sex with their same gender on the side. Like, it's just...
I don't think that's how they do it.
What do you mean?
I don't think they have sex side to side. I mean, they're different, but they're not that different, Jess. They're still human beings.
My point is that I don't think that you can take any person... Like, I think if you said all gay people are not allowed to have sex because it's against God or whatever, I don't think that...
God, they're fucking kids. Listen.
I don't think that they should be fucking kids, but I also... I understand...
Screaming.
That it's very difficult for them.
Screaming about having sex with children.
I really feel bad for them, and I feel like it's really unfair of us... I mean... I don't think they should be able to have sex with children, but I feel like we should have a little bit more sympathy.
Say that right off the bat.
Because I wouldn't
give them one child. And they can all have sex.
No,
with the
I
same
wouldn't
kid.
tell a gay person like, "Hey, fuck you, you're never allowed to have sex again."
Yeah.
So and obviously, like, conversion therapy isn't a thing because gay people don't choose. But I feel like the whole pedophile thing stems from something that you can fix. Maybe. So I feel like instead of saying, "Hey, pedophile, you're never allowed to have sex," fuck you, let's see what happens. I would say, "Hey, if you're having..." And, like, I would destigmatize it. And I'd be like, hey, like, if you're having thoughts of having sex with children...
That's fine.
Come see me. I'm a therapist. Like,
Come
I feel
on
like,
down.
No, seriously, I feel like it should be way more socially acceptable to, like, get help.
Yeah. Well.
Because that's probably all they need. Like, again, if there's a pedophile that refuses help or doesn't... You know what I mean? Like, they... are beyond helping, or, like, maybe it is, like, sociopaths have, like, a mental disorder. Like, I think that... Like, if that is what pedophilia stems from, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've read things that do suggest that pedophilia is something that can be fixed in some cases. And I feel like it should definitely be fixed.
On a lighter note...
Because everyone has weird kinks, man. I don't know. I feel like they get a bad rap.
Yeah. They I'll give you that they do get a bad rap. I don't know that it's...
I just, if you had said, like, oh, Jess, the stuff that you're into is fucking disgusting and you're a monster, like, that must be really fucking hard. That's all I'm saying. We all have weird fetishes, and I feel like, you know...
Rattle off a few. I'm saying I have this little...
You don't want me to.
I have this little container of Tootsie Rolls, and it says, reusable bank filled with bite-sized midgies. That's fun. Their website is Tootsie Roll plug. Sponsored post right here. It's not. No one would ever pay us for this garbage. No one's gonna want to put their brand name. Talk about molesting kids. Tootsie.com. They got in early, I guess. From Chicago. Wow.
What? They got in early?
They got in at the ground floor before someone could squat their domain name.
Wait, so it's just Tootsie? It's not Tootsie Roll?
No, www.worldwideweb.tootsie.com.
That's cute. Their website is just Tootsie.
Tootsie.com, like the movie.
I want to buy it from them.
The first ingredient is sugar.
That'll be my porn name.
The second ingredient is corn syrup. Then palm oil. What am I doing?
Let's not.
Make your own Tootsie Rolls at home. Your own bite-sized midgies.
Let's stop doing what the fuck you're doing right now. Just reading labels of our snacks.
Why is there so many pieces of candy corn here?
I do enjoy candy corn.
But it's been there for like a year and a half.
They never go bad. They don't go bad.
Just put them away.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today, Pod Racers. Bye.